Hello guys, welcome to StudyIQ. My name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. And in the morning these videos come, in the evening PIB videos they come, and the PDF you will get on the Telegram channel and on the Facebook group that I have given on the last page. And the important questions I'm discussing in the PIB lesson also, so please do not miss PIB lesson. That is hardly 10 minutes lesson and totally exam oriented questions and explanations we are discussing there. So apart from this particular video, you please do not miss that video. So 12th of April it is, and let's start the lesson. A champion is defined not by their wins but by how they can recover when they fall. When you fall, then you need to rise. If you are motivated, then only you can rise, and at that time bigger energy is needed, bigger strength is needed. A car is moving and it wants to go fast, then the acceleration is very easy. But if the car is slowing down, there is a kind of a break in between, then how fast it accelerates, that's important, because bigger energy is needed. So if you fall and then you rise, then how early you rise and how motivated you rise again. If you are making mistakes, then what kind of mistakes you are making, how grave those mistakes are, and how you learn from your mistakes and you come back again. And there must be positivity, so that shows that how energetic, positive and a champion you are. So if we take the example of UPSC, those people are extremely appreciable who are cracking this examination in the first move or the second chance. But the people who are getting selected in the fourth, fifth, sixth chances, you suppose their condition, they have made many mistakes. Maybe they were lacking in many things. Maybe they were not understanding the concepts and their hard working abilities were not strong. But because of these lacks, they made many mistakes. But still they recovered and they did not fall. They actually recovered from that particular stage and they learned from their mistakes and they became successful. So bigger champions are those candidates. So always take inspiration from a person who became successful in the end, but he was a great failure before that. So those people are real champions in my way. Next, these are the pendrive courses of StudyIQ, and you can order these courses here calling on these numbers, and you can visit the website also. All our important updated courses are available. All are created by experts and selected people. Next, President Ramnath Kovind recently launched Veer Parivar app. It is actually connecting the next kin of the slain personnel, the people who are martyred and who belongs to CRPF, and the CRPF authorities, they will be connected to their families with this particular app. So this app would be downloaded by these special officials of CRPF authorities, and that would not be available over the app stores. That would be a secret official app. So that's important. Only one is the correct answer here. Next, WTO process. You see, we always hear about the common but differentiated responsibilities in the area of climate change. But you see, in the World Trade Organization, as an important body in this world for the trade, as it started in 1995, 1st of January, and before that Uruguay rounds went for 86 to 94. For 8 years, all these rounds were regarding the General Agreement on Tariff and Trades. So things were very complex. This world is huge and it's actually very diverse, and the globalization wave was there. Now the protectionism wave is also going on. So all these things are very complex. So the WTO, it has its own ruling, it has its own process, but certainly it has not achieved all its goals. And the main aim, where developing countries and the least developed countries, they are able to come up to the level of developed countries, and they are competing by the side of theirs. But that thing is not possible, because developing countries like India, who are rising now, they have many challenges. They have constraints of finances, investments, and all these rulings. Climate change, environmental issues are newer issues, and they are also creating troubles, hindrances for their processes. And you see, in this particular time, we need support. But these developed countries like USA and all, they are very dominant in their position, and they do not want to free this particular hold which they are having on these bodies. just like they have bigger voting shares, they have bigger say in their boards and all, and the decision making is most of the times in favor of these countries. So we are demanding here a special and differential treatment for the developing countries here. So this is the concept of S&D, and they may ask you about that, and it's a very important mains question, and this trend is going on, and now India is complaining about it. We are trying to bring a particular consensus between these countries who are likewise countries of India, and S&D treatment is the core concept there, so that our businesses are supported, and some moves which are going against us, just like the removal of GSP system and all, so they should not hurt our motives. Next, Defense of India Act was brought up after Jallianwala Bagh. No, it was brought up in 1915. Many details are there regarding Jallianwala Bagh incident in today's newspaper. So it was brought up in 1915 during the World War I time, after these Ghadar movements and all, and they feared that there may be many issues within India against the Britishers, and in these challenging times of World War I, where Britain was involved there. Now, it was the extension that came as a Rowlatt Act, and that was also a very arbitrary law. And complaining about this, protesting this particular act, these people, Saifuddin Kichlu and Satyapal, they were arrested by British authorities, and in protest of these arrests, people were gathered in this Jallianwala Bagh, which was there in Amritsar, and around 15 to 20,000 people, they were gathered, and that was a peaceful gathering, and they were discussing this particular issue. And Jallianwala Bagh massacre, that was done by General Dyer, and he instructed these police personnel which were with him, and they shot all these people on point blank range. More than 1,000 people they were killed, and according to the official estimates by General Dyer, they were only 379. But in actual reports, and Congress said about it, that more than 1,500 people they were killed. So that was so horrible and unimaginable incident, and General Dyer was also criticized in Britain, but in most of the places where right wing was on rise, he became a hero after that. So that was problematic, and these two important statements, they both are wrong here. So D is the correct answer here. Okay, these are the words that I found today in the newspaper, and try them into sentences. There must be an important compilation till now, because every day we are getting these important words, and certainly your vocabulary must have been improved till now. This issue is not much important for the exam point of view, because Brexit, it is unresolved issue till now, and they are extending again it till the 31st of October. 29th of March was not possible. Now they have settled this issue for 31st of October. Before that also, it may be possible if some consensus achieved, then it may be possible before 31st of October also. But this issue is totally unresolved till now, because it's a very complex, trade related aspects are there, and for both European Union and Britain, it has become the most hectic issue in history. So we will not waste our time discussing this particular unresolved matter. Many issues, when they will come after it is resolved. Next, deep regret is simply not good enough. We will discuss this particular issue, important for GS paper 1 and for essay also. It is giving us a lot of insight and learning for our democracy, for our future. And historical incidents, sometimes they are very hope giving, sometimes they are actually giving us a lot of knowledge about the human society, about our important symptoms of big incidents, and how we become weak, how we retaliate, how we become strong, and what is the way. So history tells us all. And this particular small article is again related to the same issue, and it is giving many examples that in history many incidents they have been there, and we are here to learn from these important historical incidents. Netanyahu's Israel, 5th time Netanyahu has won this, and in this particular editorial, the writer wants to say here that it is all ultra nationalistic campaigning. that brought a victory to Netanyahu. And you see, as I told you earlier also, the right-wing rise is going on in all these countries, America, India, and Israel and all. So we have to assess this issue, because whenever right-wing went towards a rise in this world, then results are not satisfactory, and they are sometimes really drastic, because it accumulates energies. It is the ideological issue that is really extreme, and maybe nationalistic fervor is always present. Ultra nationalistic discourses we see with this particular rise, but channeling this energy is very, very important. And the first thing that is needed in this world with the right wing rise, that ethics and morality, they should be the things of prime importance. Without ethics and morality, right wing rise is really destructive, but that is happening. So let's see, this is the issue regarding the blockage of not blockage, but it's a restriction for 2 days in a week, Wednesday and Sunday, when because of these smooth troops movement, they are putting some restrictions on the movement, and only certain categories would be allowed on this highway, which is National Highway 44, and it is joining Jammu and Kashmir also. Although it's the longest highway in India, it is joining Kashmir to Kanyakumari, but it is passing through Jammu and Kashmir, and from there only the troops movement that happens. So alternatives we need to find here, because many problems people are finding here, and this particular grudge against the state, that is again rising with this issue. Already the president's rule is going on, and not many clarities are there in the administration, and now because of this Pulwama attack, government is bound to bring these kind of rulings in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And Lok Sabha elections are also problematic here, and the main issue is of governance and the administration here, that is affected by this, because people are rising against state. For that, a lot of protests are going on, and again the energy is filling in these people. Again and again these kind of energies, negative energy against the state, that is filling in Kashmir's people. So we need to find some alternative here, like airlifting can be possible here, but for that we need a lot of support from the central government. Next, deep regret. Punjab Assembly that passed this particular resolution that it demanded a deep apology from UK. The English people who were here and who made it totally clear with this particular historical incident that they were here only for themselves, and they could cross any kind of limit just to stay there, just to exploit India's people. And after that, it was a phase that started, that was of mass protests, and people were totally clear about the intentions of the Britishers, that at any cost we need to throw these people out. And you see, after 100 years, now tomorrow 13th of April, it is the day when 100 years will be completed of this unfortunate incidents, when more than 1500 people, they were shot down by Britishers. And you see, the people who shot down, in that particular force, Indians were also there. So what made them shoot these people? What was that force? And why Britishers became so forceful, why they became so strong that they could attack us and we could not do anything against that? And after that particular incident, we needed to put many lives on risk, and more than lakhs of people, they were martyred in this particular process of freedom struggle. And what kind of conditions that led to these kind of unfortunate events, that is important here. That is important here for our learning, because we are living in a free democracy today, and there is a big responsibility on our shoulders that we maintain this freedom, because it was earned after completion of an impossible task, that was of freedom struggle and achieving this freedom. Many scars are there, but always history tells us about the experiences it teaches us. And that is why you see in intellectual class also, this demand is rising that we are not understanding history, we are not reading history, and we are not going behind the real history, and we are more interested in the sensational interpretations of the history. People are talking about Patel, Nehru, Gandhi. Nobody is alive today, and they are interpreting their lives because they know that nobody is going to come back. Nehru would not come here again, Gandhi would not come here again, and they would explain themselves. Patel, Bose, they will not come back here again, and they will not put their own stands. So their stands are being clarified by political parties. So this is totally unfortunate a thing, because this is not a real history. What is being spread in the social media, in the WhatsApp media and all, and the way we are given the knowledge about the history, that is problematic, because history tells us the real experience, that why we became weak, why this kind of incident was possible for the Britishers to execute, because we became weaker. We were divided on the lines of caste, religion, everything. This society could not become one. And you suppose a condition where there was no religion, there was no caste, and people were equal, and then Britishers could have come anyhow. Will there not be, not will, but would not there be a particular understanding, a collective understanding in these people, because those were equal? Would they not have retaliated in a strong manner with a particular unity? And Britishers would not have been able to survive in that country. But that was not possible, because we were not united. We were divided, and they could exploit this division, and they could attack us in any possible way, because these people knew that we are foolish people and we are divided people. We could never become one. But when we became one, then Britishers had to leave this country, and everything had its symptoms. When we became united, then these things had symptoms, like mass protests were there, and some widely accepted leaders were there. And when we were not divided, then symptoms were there, that communal politics was on rise before 1919, and there were moderates, there were extremists, and some people were very much conservative. Age of consent bill was brought up, means people were very conservative at that time. Some people were gaining knowledge, and some wanted reform in our society. People like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Jyotiba Phule, all these were here. So people were divided, they were not being the same, but knowledge was necessary, and that was missing. And because of that, we became weak, and because of that, these kind of unfortunate experiences we had to experience. And you see, the details which are given in this article, which are related to the prelims, like a Kuka movement, what was the time, and what kind of conditions led to 1857 revolution, and the phase after 1857 to 1920 was very unique. Many developments were there, and when Britishers promised to bring a good governance in 1858 Government of India Act, then why these kind of incidents they happened? Why this kind of condition was brought in this country, that Dyer shot more than 1,500 people at a point blank range, and thousands of them, they were wounded. So what kind of developments brought this situation till 1999? Okay, so that is a very important mains question, and this particular phase is extremely important. All these councils acts and all these important developments, the Government of India acts, and what just happened after 1920, that was the result of our retaliation to this particular event. So these are mains and prelims based questions. Okay, although it is only talking about the history, and that is the part of our historical understanding in the GS paper 1, and in the history topic of our prelims examination, you must have learned all these things, that the inquiry committee was there, and Lord Hunter was the chairman of it. Dyer was held as a liability for Britishers, and he was convicted of this particular way. Even Winston Churchill said that it is not the British way to do things, but many people, and majorly the normal people who were supporting Dyer there, they held him as a hero. So all these unfortunate things were there. But anyhow, we have got the apology after 100 years of this incidents, and from the same people, from these same place of these their parliament, and these English speaking people, they have given their apology there. Next article is again related to this particular issue, and it is telling us that many experiences in this world were there, and Jallianwala Bagh incident was also very much disturbing, and it was one of the most unfortunate things that we experienced. But the incidents were there when Nadir Shah came to Delhi in 1739 and he killed 30,000 people on the streets, and killing by Japanese army in Nanjing in 1937-38, East Timor 1975 by Indonesian soldiers, and Shah in Iran, he ordered that in the Persian town of Karnan in 1794, his name was Aga Muhammad Khan, and he said that kill every male in this city and bring me to their eyeballs. So these kind of horrific incidents, why these things become possible, and why some people they become so powerful, what kind of symptoms are there, what kind of weaknesses are there, we need to put light on those things, and it's a very important point that should give us some insight, and a lot of introspection is needed from our side for the historical learning, so that we can save our future, we can understand the present. That's very, very important. Okay, next, closed road. We had discussed that after Pulwama incident, these kind of steps are being taken in the areas of Jammu and Kashmir, and this National Highway 44, according to the new numbering, it was number 1 highway, and this now the number is 44, and according to the longitudes and the latitudes, these numberings are changed, and this is 44 starting from Srinagar and going till Kanyakumari. So that's very, very important. That is the longest one, and that's important for the prelims examination. Mark all these cities which are present on this National Highway 44, because this closure and this shutdown is related to the National Highway 44. So that is why it is important. Next, Supreme Court on Thursday directed the center to approve the composition of green crackers, and it was formulated by PESO. PESO, what is PESO? Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. This organization that works under Ministry of Commerce, under the Department of Promotion of Internal Trade and Industry. Okay, DPIIT. Okay, so, this is working under that, and that's important for us. Headquarters is there in Nagpur, and regional center is there in Faridabad, Haryana. That is the Northern Regional Office, and it is giving rulings and licenses regarding all the explosive conditions, like there can be explosions on the petrol filling stations, there can be explosions in the LPG cylinders, CNG cylinders, and there may be by crackers. So regarding crackers, it is also releasing guidelines and these important rules. So it has come up with the cylinder rules, explosive rules, and stative and mobile pressure vessels, LPG vessels rules, and all working under DPIIT, that you remember, and PESO is the name. So Supreme Court is directing center to give approval to this particular formulation that is being done by PESO. Next, US charges Assange with hacking, and Julian Assange, the person behind the WikiLeaks, and that was the most important help for the world public, because he revealed a lot of data, and this was a big explosion on the world platform when he told about the atrocities in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the plot by America, and all these secret informations, they were released by this person in the public sphere, just for the truth that should come out and that should be known to public. So it's an unfortunate incident for the world, because this person that supported the free information and the free age in the modern age, where people should know each and everything, and the truth should come out. There should not be conspiracies, there should not be secretive plans, and when these plans are for destruction, then it becomes much more important to expose these things. So Julian Assange, he had taken shelter in Ecuador, embassy till now. Now he got arrested by the London police, and the unfortunate thing is that he can be extradited to America now, because he has become the biggest enemy of America after these WikiLeaks, and for 7 to 8 years he has been roaming around and taking shelters in various places. So this is very unfortunate now that he is arrested and charges are being there, and for 5 years he will be behind the bars according to this particular arrest. But dangers are too many, because he would be under the control of USA now. He may be extradited from Britain according to the provisions. Next important information is regarding the solar e-waste. You see, we are struggling with the solid waste management issue. Less than 10% we are able to recycle, less than 15% is managed, and it is transported to these dump sites and all. And the issue now is of e-waste. You must have watched that movie, that Wall-E. Wall-E was the movie in 2008 that was regarding the e-waste and how this world is going towards destruction because of this e-waste. And we see the reality today. We have mobiles, after 1 or 2 years these are of no use and we need to throw them. Where all this waste would go? And we have done a tremendous progress in the solar area. That is most appreciable thing with the present government, that we should always hail that. But the waste that we are generating with these solar progress, that is to be thought. And what constitute solar e-waste? Photovoltaic cells that have reached their life cycles and haven't been recycled, so these are creating waste. Next, they contain potentially hazardous chemicals like chromium, silicon tetrachloride, and cadmium, selenium, sulfur hexafluoride. This SF6 sulfur hexafluoride is a very, very potent greenhouse gas, and it stays for very long a period in the atmosphere, and that is 23,000 times more dangerous than carbon dioxide. So these are extremely important things and dangerous things associated with the solar sector. So certainly this question may be asked by UPSC, that what are the important hazardous chemicals which are there in the solar industry, and these kind of questions are very normal for UPSC. Okay, so photovoltaics, these are important cells, and batteries are also used. So this e-waste and this electronic waste, its management is very crucial. If we are investing 100 rupees in the progress, then we should invest at least 20 rupees in this management of these waste. Otherwise it would create a lot of problems. What is the meaning if we are progressing, but by the side of this progress our cities are totally polluted and we are not able to manage the waste, and it is creating a lot of disease like cancers and all, and people are dying of these disease like COPD, cancer, and heart disease, because you see the recent examples like Varanasi, which is creating a lot of infrastructure, but the city is choked with this pollution, and it has become the fourth most polluted country, fourth most polluted city in this world. So what is the meaning of this progress, which is hurting the health of the normal public? So that is why we need to think about this waste management also. Okay, and it would reach up to 2 lakh tons by 2030, and it is only photovoltaic waste volume. So that is why this is a problematic thing. Next, mutual funds, important for us, the meaning of mutual fund and the various types of it. Mutual fund is a professionally managed investment fund. We buy shares on the stock market. These are secondary market, and we sell them, we buy them, and these things are done on the stock exchanges. We have our certain accounts, but sometimes mutual funds are there. What are these mutual funds? These are pooled funds. Means many people, they are buying mutual funds units, and this whole money is pooled, and that is invested in various different companies and other organizations, and that is done by professionals. Some asset management companies are also there. Means they are investing professionally. When we are buying shares in the stock market, then we are directly investing in that company by buying these shares, but here in these mutual funds, these things are done by professionals. So that is the difference, and these are important units, and there are various types. Open-ended funds are there, closed-ended funds are there, exchange traded funds, which are mostly asked. These are open-ended funds only, but these are exchanged, and these are bought and sold on exchanges in the way we buy and sell these stocks on the stock market. So in the same way, these exchange traded funds are traded. And there are index funds, where a certain index, a certain particular list is targeted. Maybe we can take the example of BSE index, NS index. When some company, professional mutual fund company, that is targeting these funds for a particular list, that it is targeting the same companies which are there, and it is managing and it is investing according to that, then these are called index funds. So it's also part of it's a type of mutual funds. There are hedge funds. They are not mutual funds. Okay, hedge funds, hedge means risk management, covering something, or sheltering, creating a shelter for that. So that is hedging. So hedge funds are not mutual funds. They cannot be sold to the general public, are subjected to different government regulations, and mainly these are done for the risk management. Maybe where we are investing, that may brought a particular risk, and to lower this risk, we channelize these funds to many areas and in many channels, so that the risk becomes the lowest. So hedge funds are created for that. So they are different from mutual funds, but they are certainly the similar types. Okay, all others are mutual funds and managed by professionals. Next, genetic method to empower conservation. You must have heard about the DNA technology, DNA fingerprinting technology. What is DNA? Our bodies are made up of organs, systems, and organs are made up of tissues. Tissues are made up of cells, and cells, inside these cells there is nucleus, and there are chromosomes which are having the genetic information regarding our bodies. And because of that information, we are of a certain type. I'm having a straight hair because I have genes for straight hairs, and if somebody is a taller, somebody is shorter, somebody is fatty, somebody is having a linear body, these all genes are there in chromosomes, and there are DNAs. Genes are the parts of DNAs. Now DNAs, they are having important bonds, and these important nitrogenous bases, they are attached with each other, and there are 5 prime 3 prime sites. So when we have some part of DNAs, maybe these are complete ones, maybe these are incomplete ones. So in the forensic science, or maybe in some conservational approaches, if we have some broken or damaged or some incomplete part of DNAs with us, we may get them anywhere, maybe on some crime sites, maybe from some animals, maybe from some fossils, we may get them, these incomplete DNA parts, and we can complete them by processes. Because 5 prime is gonna attach with 3 prime, and the bond would be there between 5 prime and 3 prime here, and this side, this would be 5 prime, again 3 prime, 5 prime. So because of this particular ruling, we can complete this amplification process, and we can get the actual part of the DNA. So by this process, we are able to know about the whole DNA structure and the particular organism. So we may conserve some particular animals also by this technology. And gene banks, you must have heard about, where we keep genes for the extinct animals or plants, and we may grow them again in future. So some species, they may be conserved by this particular process, and DNA technology is an important part of biotechnology, and the basic thing is there, genes and the very basic cellular structures. Okay, so NCBS, National Center for Biological Sciences, which is there in Bangalore, that hopes to make studying as well as conservation of wild species quicker, easier and cost effective way by deriving information from the animal sources containing extremely low quality DNA, including feces and cooked meat. So we may have information by these sources also. Otherwise, feces, cooked meat, and hair particles and all, they are not having complete DNA material. But by these new technologies, we can know about the real genetic information, and these ways would be cost effective and the quicker ways. Now the MCQs, try their answers in the comment section and look for the additional data. Extremely important these things would be, and you will know the importance, you will realize the important issues after you will appear in the prelims examination this year. Thanks a lot, keep watching, and it was Amit Sani, and in this group the PDFs are uploaded, and the Telegram channel, that is also given here. Thanks a lot.